Thanks for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. The New Patriotic Party's Patrick Boakye-Adom has been declared the Member of Parliament elect for Boase East. The National Democratic Congress parliamentary candidate Samuel Aboagye was initially declared winner of that seat, but the Electoral Commission nullified the results after the re-collation exercise at the EC's Greater Accra Collation Centre today. The returning officer for Boase East, Frederick Mensah, declared that Patrick Boakye-Adom of the NPP secured 18,558 votes, narrowly defeating the NDC candidate who garnered 18,539 votes.
I have the honor to declare Patrick Boakye-Adom of NPP as a parliamentary member of parliament elect for Boase East.
Let's take you live now to the EC's Greater Accra Collation Centre. My colleague James Aveji is there for us. James, just give us some update. What's happening with Techiman Central and also in Sawam constituency?
Well, for state, 3 more constituencies have been declared, and so we have a total of 4 constituencies declared. Techiman Central has also been declared. In Sawam Edwejiri constituency has been declared, as well as Ahafo North constituencies. All of these 4 constituencies have been declared. Together with the Boase East, have all been declared for the New Patriotic Party. Let me run you quickly through some of the figures. For instance, in Sawam Edwejiri constituency, the NPP's Frank Anodompre polled some 29,640 votes. The NDC's candidate Fume Philibert has polled some 29,433 votes, and so the NPP candidate has won that particular constituency, which is the Sawam Edwejiri constituency. In the case of Techiman Central, earlier there has been some agitations between the NDC candidate Ebi Bright together with her lawyer Roxy Nelson Dapamekpo, and that led to some heated argument. The NDC was of the view that the Electoral Commission need to re-collate the entire polling stations in the Techiman Central constituency, but the EC insisted that they would only go ahead to collate the remaining 3 polling stations that were in contention on the day of 7th to 8th of December. And so finally, the EC went ahead to collate the rest of the 3 polling stations in contention. Roxy Nelson Dapamekpo and Ebi Bright walked out of the coalition process when that happened. I must also say that the returning officer also declined going ahead with the coalition process for Techiman Central because he said for the fear of threat on his life, he will not go ahead, and so the deputy returning officer had to step in and complete the rest of the coalition process. For Ahafo North constituency, the NPP's Eric Nana Ajiman-Prempeh had some 20,353 votes to win that, ahead of the NDC's Kwesi Eduse, who has some 20,332 votes. Close polls between the parties here at the EC Coalition Center here, and so we are done with 5 more to go. And so, as you can see at the background, the Electoral Commission officials are still continuing the process in the presence of heavy security. The police are here, immigration, fire service, as well as the military. All of the security agencies under the National Election Security Task Force are all here, ensuring that the process goes on smoothly. And so that's the latest from the EC Regional Coalition here in Accra for C.
Okay, just give me some update as to what's happening with Techiman North constituency. I know that there's a bit of contention and tension in that area. Tell me more.
Well, for Ablikman North, we know that the NDC's Rabna Obing as well as the NPP's Nanaikwe Free are in that race. I mean, the NDC's candidate, they are also insisting that for Ablikman North, they needed to collate the entire process. That is a position generally of the NPP. The returning officer for Ablikman North actually just spoke to us a while ago, and he said that the NPP have been able to produce 25 polling station pink sheets out of the 62 that are supposed to be collated. The NDC has not been able to bring out their pink sheets, and so they were actually asking that the collation process should be halted until they are ready to follow the process. But the NPP is also insisting that the collation continues. The returning officer has also stepped down from that collation. He said he will not continue with the collation, and so handing over the process to the EC headquarters to take a decision on that. And so this is the table just behind me that was for where the Ablikman North constituency coalition was happening. You see the EC officials there, the NPP candidate seated there, they're now idle. Nothing is not currently happening. Okaikwei Central NDC candidate Baba Sadiq also walked out of the coalition room. According to him, the EC has been able to provide what they call master pink sheets here today of the 31 polling stations outstanding. Now, what they notice is that the figures of the NPP, of the EC differs from the original carbon copy that they had earlier. And so they cannot go ahead with that. They are alleging that the EC has forged some pink sheets. We just currently going to have another declaration of one of the constituencies. I'm sure this is Okaikwei Central. Foresee, you want to stand by for us to pick that live.
Okaikwei Central coming to give the declaration now.
Hello, good afternoon, media. My name is Harrison Kwabna Ejakwa, Deputy Returning Officer for Okaikwei Central. The court order given yesterday and by the EC directive that we have to recollate the left polling stations that were not added to the previous declared one. That in total they were 31. So that is by the court order we came to add the 31 polling stations to make it 141 centers, including special voting. Previous declaration, Patrick Yabuama got 14,949, and Abdullahi Abu Bakar Sadiq got 15,383. By the 31 polling stations added today, Patrick Yabuama got 6,150, and Abdullahi Abu Bakar Sadiq got 3,985. Total for Patrick Yabuama is now 21,099, and total for Abdullahi Abu Bakar Sadiq is 19,368.
Can you repeat it?
The total valid votes cast for Patrick Yabuama is 21,099, and total valid vote cast for Abdullah Abu Bakar Sadiq is 19,368. Total rejected is total valid votes is 40,467, and rejected ballots, total rejected ballot is 198. The total of the votes in the box is 40,165. Per the results. And by the court order, I do hereby announce and declare that Patrick Yao Boama has been elected as the MP for Okaikwei Central constituency. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right. So that's the declaration.
And so that's the declaration just done for Okaikwei Central there. Yeah. You must be a happy person now.
So let's engage you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, media. Thank you very much for your patience. I know you've all waited for some time to listen to the declaration. In elections, to compete is part of democracy. To lose is part of democracy, and to win is also part of democracy. So let me congratulate my competitor, the National Democratic Congress, and also use the opportunity to thank the teeming supporters of the MPP in the Okaikwei Central constituency and the National Party at large. We fought a good fight, we waged a very good campaign, and God has been so good to us. We thank the good Lord for giving us victory. Thank you for the support from the leadership of our party and from Parliament. You can see the majority leader here and some members of Parliament, as well as some members of the general public and the constituency around to support and witness this very important declaration. I thank you very much, media, for your presence. God bless you.
Yes.
Congratulations.
And so that's the MP elect for Okaikwei Central per the declaration we just had. Just briefly, the EC says from the initial declaration, the NDC's Baba Sadek, without the 31 outstanding polling stations, had actually emerged leader in that after adding all the outstanding 31. Mr. Patrick Boama is now declared as winner of the Okaikwei Central constituency for the parliamentary election result. And so that's what we have now. 5 has been done for still 4 more to go. All 5 have gone in the way of the New Patriotic Party. But just as I was indicating to you earlier, the Okaikwei Central NDC parliamentary candidate, Baba Sadek, walked out of the process about 15-20 minutes ago, alleging that the EC's new pink sheet, they call it master pink sheet, that they have brought to do the coalition, had different figures from what the NDC had, duplicate pink sheets they had from the various polling stations on the 7th of December, which they were used, they were using to do the coalition some 2 weeks ago at the same venue, which gave him the lead, and the EC declaring him as winner in the initial re-coalition process. I'm trying to see if a majority leader, you've got 5 out of 9, 4 more to go. You must be a happy person as we speak.
Prayer.
You are positive.
Prayer.
The 4 will also come.
Prayer.
Your prayers have been answered gradually.
Prayer.
And so that majority leader, Alexander Marking, indicating that he will not say anything beyond the fact that they are in this process with prayer, and prayer is what he says. And so we here following the rest of the 4 outstanding polling stations to know how they would also go for stay.
Thank you, James Aveji, for bringing us that update. Just giving you the breaking news coming through right now is that out of the 9 outstanding constituencies, 5 have been declared for the MPP. The most recent is Patrick Yabwama. He is MP-elect for Okaikwei Central. Thank you, James, for providing us that update. Now, the Director of Legal Affairs for the NDC, Ejudi Tamaklo, says the party has filed a stay of execution of the High Court in Accra's ruling that ordered the Ghana Police Service to provide security for the EC to recollate the parliamentary results of 6 constituencies. Tamaklo earlier expressed disappointment with the High Court in Accra to order the recollation of the parliamentary results of the constituencies. Now, the decision comes after weeks of uncertainty surrounding the outcome of the December 7th polls in the constituency.
And confirm that we have invoked the supervisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court relative to the orders made by the High Court this morning, and also applied for an order to stay the execution of the orders against the IGP and then the EC. I can also say that we have duly filed and said it's on the IGP who is supposed to provide security for those exercises. That I can confirm.
So that application, this is an application to stay?
That is so.
Okay. Has it been granted, and does it, in effect, stay, or you have to
I do not want to. The IGP has a team of lawyers. They will advise what to do.
But at least it's your expectation that the IGP and the Electoral Commission will wait for the outcome of that substantive matter that you've taken up?
There are 2 processes before the Supreme Court, the Court of the Land. The IGP and his office have been duly served.
Have you served the Electoral Commission, though?
Well, I'm sure the bailiff also should be, but I can confirm that of the IGP.
And we were asking earlier your colleague on the other side if they've been told by the EC when the recollation would happen. I mean, this could happen any time.
The IGP is the one who is supposed to provide security, and he has been served with judicial processes. I'm sure his lawyers are advising what he should do.
In other words, if the EC can proceed without the security, you don't mind?
The IGP has been served.
But the EC can't do it without the IGP's protection, as in providing men for them.
That is what I'm saying, that the IGP has been served.
Well, meanwhile, hundreds of security personnel made up of the police, military, immigration and other agencies are currently stationed outside the Electoral Commission offices in Accra to ensure smooth recollation of the parliamentary results for some outstanding constituencies in the just-ended election. Now, to maintain order, the security forces have deployed various crowd control measures to prevent supporters of both political parties from gathering at the recollation center. A leaked police memo, which surfaced on Friday evening, revealed the deployment of a total of 5,000 security officers for today's exercise. Maxwell Baba is there for us. He joins us live with more. Maxwell, what can you report?
Well, Faustina, like you rightly mentioned, the police is still maintaining heavy presence here. And their presence here over the last 4 hours has largely deterred supporters from both sides from converging here like they had earlier vowed to do. Over the past 3 hours, we've seen police and military armored vehicles patrolling the streets in front of the EC's regional offices here. Military men and soldiers, a combined force of immigration, fire service, the police, soldiers and other security agencies, like you can rightly see, have been standing behind those crash barriers since morning, and they continue to change shifts if they're tired. Now, water cannons, 2 water cannons are also strategically, positioned behind where they are at this point. If you do not have accreditation, you will not be given access to the Electoral Commission's premises. We've seen quite a number of people being turned away because they did not have the special ID card, the special accreditation that would give them access to the place. The police and the security personnel here are leaving no stone unturned in ensuring that this re-collation exercise is done in a peaceful atmosphere. We are stationed outside here. Colleague James Aveji is in there, and usually when the candidates are declared winners out there, they step out here and they move out of away from the premises, and you find some of their supporters, one or two of them, pouring powder on them in excitement after the declaration. I have with me here Irabna Obin, the NDC's parliamentary candidate for Ablekuma North. Let's speak to her. She was at the re-collation center earlier, but she stepped out. We want to find out from her what the reason is. Madam, you're welcome to Joy News.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You were inside earlier, but you stepped out. We're curious to know what exactly happened in there.
Let me say hello to your cherished viewers and listeners. I don't want to be part of an illegality, and so we walked out. Few days ago or weeks ago, we had a collation done here at the regional office, and we collated up to some 219 polling stations out of a total of 281 polling stations for Ablekuma North constituency. And so after 219 polling stations, there was some kind of a struggle between the MPP and the NDC side because they didn't want to accept the fact that we were in the lead. So at that point, it had to be altered, and then a declaration was made by the returning officer of Ablekuma North constituency. A few days after, we all saw what happened with the EC, etc. I didn't know that the chairperson for the EC, Madam G. Mensah, was a returning officer for Ablekuma North parliamentary elections. I didn't know this until recently, but apparently she declared our results somewhat illegal, reasons best known to her, because the returning officer didn't make the declaration under duress or whatever. The videos are all there. The media was heavily present. Fast forward, we were called, I think late last night, we got word that we had to be here today for some collation. We were all lost, but we decided to come in and then see for ourselves what was going to happen. Lo and behold, we came in and met the EC returning officer, the director, with the MPP side, already collating some pink sheets, about 25, almost 30 pink sheets at the table in our absence. And so we asked, what's happening? And they said the MPP had provided pink sheets. How does the MPP provide pink sheets to the Electoral Commission that is supposed to be providing pink sheets or ascertaining results from both sides to confirm if it's actually the correct results or falsified? Instead, the EC, who made us known earlier that they only can make provision for 165 polling stations, we accepted, is now taking pink sheets or statement of polls from the MPP side to make a declaration. If you already have a position and you are willing to accept statement of polls from the MPP, who right from day one, even from the constituency, after the elections, they did not have a single pink sheet. Out of all the 281 polling stations, the MPP and their candidates did not have a single pink sheet to produce at the collation center. The only pink sheets they had was the one the MCE was trying to sneak into our district collation center through the EC director. You see, and then we chanced on it. Our organizer here saw them, and then some of our constituency executives too were there, and so we retrieved it. Those two pink sheets totaled about how many? A little over 400 votes for two pink sheets, 420 votes, and so we redrew that pink sheet. But then, let's think about this. We only were able to find out that this man was sneaking in two pink sheets. What if he had already smuggled in some more pink sheets on our blind side? Well, let's put that aside. Today, you ask both sides to come in for re-collation. If you know you don't have pink sheets, why are you inviting us for re-collation? If I on the NDC side provide you with pink sheets, would the MPP take it? The MPP is providing you with pink sheets. If you knew in the spirit of fairness, you wanted us to be party to this collation, you would have waited for the NDC side to be present, so that in the presence of all three stakeholders, we do the collation. When we got there, they had already collated almost 30 polling stations, all to the advantage of the MPP. And this is where we had to come in and ask the EC what was happening. The EC returning officer, he said one of their directors gave him the go-ahead to accept the MPP pink sheets and use it for collation. How do we run an electoral system this way? To what end? How do we do this?
One of the reasons the Electoral Commission has given that it cannot uphold, the declarations that were made on the 9th December, I think you were declared on the 9th December as a winner, is that because incomplete polling stations, were used for that declaration. Is it your view that you won that elections?
You know what? By the grace of God, hard work, support from the good people of Ablekuma North, I won the elections fair and square. I won this election.
With all the polling stations?
Oh boy. I won this elections fair and square. This is a constituency.
If you're asked to produce the evidence, what evidence are you going to do?
The results were collated, and we were still in the process of collating the results. I was ahead of her with over 1,000 votes. And this is where they started agitating, because they knew it wasn't going in their favor. But let's go back. This is a constituency where previously MPP claims they lead with over 24,000 votes, 30,000 votes, way back from 96. I've lived in that constituency for nearly 40 years. 96, what was the population of Ablekuma North? Till today, you still claim you have over 24,000 gap. Even as at 2020, our most recent elections, the vote margin was 24,000 plus. Where are those people now? Today you are struggling to even win with 10 votes, and you are telling me you won these elections. Let us be truthful and fair. You see, Madam Jean Mensah, we are women. Some of us look up to women in places, in a place such that she's occupying now. But I think some of her decisions and inconsistencies is trying to dent the image of females, and she has to look at it, because whether she likes it or not, she's a role model to especially female politicians. And so this is wrong. This lady, my opponent, was in Parliament in 2016. What development did she bring to the people of Ablekuma North? Prior to her going to Parliament, she was an assembly member for the Sakaman electoral area. Go and look at the state of Sakaman electoral area. Today you are back. You gave delegates, you bribed your way through. You gave delegates 2,000 cedis, you gave them deep freezers, and you thought you could hold the people of Ablekuma North at ransom and then win the elections. It took hard work. We went to the people, they know our problems. We drew their attention to it, and then we won the votes.
Now you've abandoned the process at the re-collaton center. What's going to be your next line of action?
We have not abandoned the process. What we have done is to draw the attention of all well-meaning Ghanaians that what is happening at the regional office is an illegality, and it is criminal. Every leader in this country must take key interest in what is happening, because it could happen to anybody. So we haven't abandoned it, but rather we have drawn the attention. What for? It's a crime scene. What am I going to do there? Commit murder? This is dangerous to society. You see, let's not encourage this. It has to stop. It has to stop. We were in court yesterday. The judge took no evidence, nothing, and then declared that we should go and recollate. We are here. Why don't we go through the recollation process in fair means, so that everybody, even when you lose, you accept that I've lost on good grounds. But we come in, and the EC that is supposed to be neutral or be to play the referee is now taking pink sheets from the MPP side to collate results. I mean, nobody will take this.
So finally, what's going to be your next line of action in case it does not go in your favor?
Oh, the party has, excuse me?
In case it doesn't go in your favor, what's going to be your next line of action?
Arabna Obin won Ablekuma North parliamentary elections, and she has been declared. So far as I'm concerned, the returning officer, with the evidence in front of him, declared Arabna Obin as the MP elect for Ablekuma North. I'm not in Ablekuma North to boss over the people to lord over them. I'm there to work, and that is why they chose me. I am willing to work, I am ready to serve, and I'm ready to work with them. This process going on here is an illegality. The MPP cannot impose themselves on us in Techiman North. This can't happen.
Okay. But finally, before you go, do you have indication what is going on? Do you know what is going on inside now?
I already told you that is a crime scene.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a witness to a crime scene, and that is why we are here.
That's why you're out?
Yes,
okay.
yes. All right.
Thank you for talking to us. Okay. So you just heard from Irabna Obin. She is the NDC's parliamentary candidate for Techiman North constituency. She was inside the re-collation center, but moved outside because you heard her saying that she doesn't want to be part of an illegality. So that's what is happening here. The police is still maintaining a heavy presence here, and that has largely deterred supporters of both parties from converging here like they had previously vowed, to do. So it's quite an empty street here with just a number of people, supporters of the parliamentary candidates who are here with them showing solidarity. Like I mentioned earlier, if you don't have a press accreditation, you cannot have access to where the re-collation is taking place. So Faustina, we're going to be here. We'll be keeping tabs on what is happening, monitoring what's happening outside the precincts of the Electoral Commission offices where the re-collation is taking place. Faustina.
Thank you, Maxwell, for bringing us that update. Irabna Obing describing the EC Recollation Center there as a crime scene. But we're following that collation process closely. So far, out of 9, 5 have been declared for the NPP, and collation is still ongoing for the other 4 constituencies. Now, a member of the governing board of the Electoral Commission, Professor Peter Epiahini, asserts that the outcome of the 2024 general election underscores his commitment to professionalism. He believes this vindicates him against the sustained campaign by the NDC for his removal. The national chairman of the party, Johnson Asidio Nketia, in a letter to the Council of State, requested the rejection of the appointments of Professor Epiahini, whom they accused of being affiliated with the governing MPP in 2023, but was unsuccessful with that request. Speaking exclusively to Joy News' Elton Brobe, Professor Epiahini reiterated his impartiality, dismissing allegations of bias as baseless.
So you've heard what you describe as Professor.
It's very important.
Very important for me.
We don't play with our title.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What you describe as the most credible, free and fair election, despite the skepticism the parties had ahead of it. What worked out for the EC?
It's about inclusiveness, how we were able to involve the political parties. We were transparent and we were fair. And everybody can attest to the fact that this election has been one of the most transparent, free and fair and credible elections that we've had so far. We've been able to organize an election to the point where less than 12 hours, the 2 major political parties knew the figures that they had. Very, very impressive. And you could realize that it is because of the transparency. If it's not the transparency, how can the 2 major political parties can even get the results? Because we generated the result. It is through our hard work that they had the result. So it is something that me, as a member of the Electoral Commission, this is my first time working for the Commission. I'm proud, and I'm also proud of my chairperson and also my colleague commissioners, and also all staff of the Electoral Commission, both temporary and also permanent staff.
Your appointment was met with some criticism, especially from the other side. Will you say that did they have any influence on you while serving on the committee?
I know where I'm coming from. I know my background. And you've been working with us. If I have been able to vindicate myself, you are aware. You see the way I was even talking to my senior brother, Dr. Omane Boama. They all know the kind of person I am, and they all know the stuff I'm made of. It's about being independent and being transparent. And I know, for me, I've been able to deliver and I've vindicated myself. You can also attest to that. Look at the collation system that we put up, even at the National Collation Center. Fax machines, each one designated for each region. And when the faxes of the day, the collated result from the region were coming, you also saw that even the cameras were capturing it. Whenever there is an error, we rectify. We are all human beings. So these are some of the things that, for me, I have worked and I'm ready to serve Mother Ghana. I didn't join the commission to make anybody president. I didn't join the commission to make anybody a member of parliament. I came here with my experience, my background, and something I'm proud of. And I'm going to make sure that I will continue to work for Mother Ghana, not to any individual or for any individual.
My final question will be one. Now that we have a change in government, you will still be comfortable working as a commissioner?
You saw me having a chat with my elder brother, Dr. Madebu Ama. That is the beauty of democracy. We are all Ghanaians. Are you getting it? I am ready to serve. So far as I'm a Ghanaian, I'm ready to serve. If I do anything contrary to the order I made before God and Ghana, I'm ready to face the law. So for me, I'm a Ghanaian, I'm ready to work. There is no way somebody can influence me. That is me. You can find out wherever I've been, wherever I've worked. That is me. Nobody. And I know the transparency that we brought on board with respect to this year's election is fantastic. I'm ready to work with anyone. So far as I'm a Ghanaian, I will continue to work.
You're still watching Joe Newsroom. When we return, we'll take you to the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, where traders are lamenting poor sales this festive season. They say it's as a result of the NPP's defeat. We'll be back to hear that. Thanks for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless, and incredible journalism. Now, government business for the first quarter of 2025 may be crippled as the Finance Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, has failed to present the expenditure in advance of appropriation before the House went on recess over the weekend. Well, the mini budget would have funded government, state machinery, and paid salaries ahead of the new John Dramani Mahama administration presenting a substantive budget. But the process has been dodged with broken down negotiation over the outstanding government business the NDC have refused to approve. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Okaikwei Central reports.
Proceed to adjourn the sittings of this meeting till the 2nd of January 2025. Honorable members, the sittings of this meeting have been adjourned to the 2nd of January 2025. It is so declared.
The worst expected outcome has occurred. There will be a government shutdown from 1st January 2025 because Parliament has been unable to consider and approve the mini budget for the first quarter of next year. The Finance Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, was expected to come to Parliament and present that critical information. It would have been referred to a committee for consideration, and then a report would have been laid back on this floor, and then a vote would have ensued. But for the last 5 days, we've been expecting the minister to show up. He hasn't. The sticking point is that the majority, the NPP side, have been seeking to get some trade-offs from their colleagues in the NDC to at least allow this mini budget to come. That trade-off had not been agreed, and because of that, entrenched positions has led to the Speaker adjourning the House to 2nd January. The NPP side, led by their leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, expected their NDC colleagues to come to the table and agree to approve some $350 million worth of tax waivers, to approve $250 million loan and another 140 million euros to buy ships for the Ghana Navy, as well as approve 2 persons nominated by the president to go onto the Supreme Court as judges. The NDC flatly rejected those offers and said they were not going to approve it. Their view was that the government should wait for the incoming John Dramani Mahama government to be seized with those matters and consider same and put them before the House. Following the abrupt adjournment of the House, two sides have been trading blames. First, the minority leader, Dr. Kaselato Forsen, says the NPP is to blame for this standoff.
The NPP government has failed to comply with Article 180 of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana to present the expenditure in advance of appropriation. In the spirit of good transition, it is expected that the outgoing president, acting pursuant to Article 180 of the Constitution, would have acted in good faith and bring before this Parliament a proposal for expenditure to cater for the first quarter of the year 2025. This was very important because the Appropriation Act for 2025 will not come into force on 1st of January 2025. There's no cause for alarm, ladies and gentlemen. Even though there will be no finance minister on the 7th of January 2025, the Vice President can present to this House the expenditure in advance of appropriation anytime after swearing in on the 7th of January 2025.
But in a sharp rebuttal, Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin says the NDC has been acting lawlessly in Parliament, insisting that they should not expect to always have their way.
We've had Supreme Court nominees whose vetting Parliament has concluded, and we are to table that report for motion to be taken on. They say they won't even allow the all-important free SHS bill. They again say they won't allow that to also be laid, let alone for the committee to take it for the bill to be considered, as well as the $250 million facility from the World Bank to support the financial sector. We've also had the 1D1F, where they themselves brought proposals to us, and government side accepted those proposals, which proposals led to the raw materials components being taken out, resulting in huge savings, and as a result, the committee completed its work. Again, the NDC lawless minority will not allow the report to be taken. We want to tell the people of Ghana that we as Democrats are ever ready to proceed to do this expenditure on account. There is no way we will ambush our own fortunes as a nation. It is rather the lawless NDC minority who have done all they can to obstruct government business. And they do not even care about the effect of our inability to undertake this constitutional obligation.
There will be a government shutdown from the 1st of January. Salaries, goods and services, capex, and other things will not be funded because there will be no authority to draw down from the consolidated fund to use for the services of government between 1st of January and March. Parliament will resume on the 2nd. If there's any agreement, the minister can put this document before the House, it will be approved. If that does not happen, the Speaker has given an indication that the incoming John Dramani Mahama government, when it is finally sworn in, can put this document before the House and it will be approved. It has been earmarked on the order paper for some weeks now, 68.1 billion Ghana cedis. That is how much the government expected to spend between the 1st January and the end of March as the first quarter budget before the substantive budget itself would have been presented by the new finance minister who will be appointed by John Dramani Mahama. That hasn't happened, and MPs are returning to their constituencies without having dealt with some of these crucial and critical businesses. Reporting for Joy News, Kwaku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Away from Parliament, Multimedia Group Limited has aimed to deal with AI media to bring you Omogana Man for Chop, a documentary that dives into the repatriation of Ghanaians from Nigeria in 1983 and the hunger that gripped the nation that year. The managing director of AI Media, Kwame Bwedi, revealed that the documentary is more than just a trip down memory lane. It's a wake-up call for the youth about the realities of seeking greener pastures. There's more in this report by Jacqueline Ansumaiwa.
Back in 1983, over 1 million Ghanaians were expelled from Nigeria, returning to a country battling severe food shortages.
People were really suffering. It was even difficult to get food to eat, and this was due to the bushfires.
The struggles, resilience, and lessons from that time form the heart of Omogana, Man Must Chop documentary. But it's not just about the past. The managing director of AI Media, Kwame Boedi, says the project is a wake-up call for today's youth chasing dreams abroad to reflect on the realities that may await them.
We use a lot of Yoruba and all sorts of things. You know, there are lots of Nigerians here, so we have a lot of Nigerian things. They really caught their eye. So now to release it, you know, we had wanted to release earlier in the year, and then things will happen, then elections and all that, but we have been talking to Fifi and Co and said, look, multimedia, you guys do these things best. And the kind of movie we have, we think it sort of fits with your social, corporate kind of thing. So you would be a good entity to partner us to do this. You know, so and they were agreeable to it. So multimedia is now actually a co-producer. We're going to give you a title of a co-producer. So then you help us with the promotion, some marketing, and you actually have it. It will be released online first. First, you got the first right to show on your screens. Now we'll take it to universities across the country. It's about 15 universities that we've targeted. Because we think this story, although the university setting, other people can come and watch, is the youth we want to talk to. Maybe grass is not greener elsewhere. Maybe yours need watering. So water your grass first and see. Maybe it will become very, very green and you stay. If you water and it's so patchy, that means that then you can go out. Why are we saying that? Look, first, let's explore those of us who've traveled and done things and are honest. The people who are coming to criticize and they come to tell you things, they will tell you that ideally if they had their way, they'll be here. So there are some people who it's best that you are here. Not only for yourself, but for nation, for everything, for your dignity, etc. There's always the trade-off. The people who live there, if they tell you what they have to do, not only the menial jobs, but there are certain indignities and certain things, and you are a second-class citizen.
This collaboration between Multimedia Group Limited and AI Media is set to mix powerful storytelling with deep insight, offering both education and reflection for a new generation. Omagana isn't just history on the screen, it's food for thought. For Joy News, I'm Jacqueline Ansama Yaboa.
Let's take you now back to the EC's Greater Accra Collation Center, where the EC is about to declare Techiman South results.
They went through successfully. So at the end of the poll, as the name appeared on the ballot paper, Elvis Oseimen Sandapa, at the end of the poll, had 16,058. Abubakar Sadiq had 15,372. The total valid votes, that was 31,430. Rejected ballots, 242. So the total vote cast was 31,672. Now, if you look at the total votes obtained by each and every candidate, Honorable Oseimen Sandapa had more votes, which is 16,058, than Abubakar Sadiq, who had 15,372. So by the powers vested in me as returning officer for Ahafo-Ano Southwest constituency, I hereby declare Elvis Oseimen Sandapa as MP-elect for Ahafo-Ano Southwest constituency. I so declare. Thank you very much. Representing New Patriotic Party, NPP, and Abubakar Sadiq also represented National Democratic Congress, NDC. My name is Kojo Kankam, KK for short. Thank you very much.
So that's the returning officer for Ahafo-Ano Southwest constituency declaring the NPP's candidate as winner of the elections. The NDC candidate. And so there you have it. The NPP's candidate for Ahafo-Ano Southwest constituency has won the constituency coalition result. That is the sixth that has been declared so far.
All I can say is transparency has been ensured. Thank you very much.
You're coming into the 9th Parliament. What are we expecting?
Why are you worrying?
Like
No, that's okay.
What are we to expect from you in Parliament?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Are watching, they are listening.
For say that's the candidate for Ahafo Southwest constituency, giving us the 6 out of the 9 constituencies that have been collated so far in the course of today. We are left with 3 more to go, and the NPP candidates have been winning all of those 6 so far. We are left with Ablekuma North constituency, as well as Techiman South is also yet to be declared, and so we are looking forward to all of that. Okaikwei Central has been declared in favor of the NPP. Techiman Central declared in favor of the NPP, as well as in Nsawam Edwejre constituency. Ahafo North went to the NPP as well. And so all of those have been declared so far. Obuasi East was part of the early ones to be declared. So 6 out of 9 have gone to the NPP. We are waiting for the rest 3 to be declared. And so that's the situation here for say.
Thank you, James Abeji, for bringing us that update. Just giving you that update that Elvis Dapa has been declared the parliamentary candidate-elect for Ahafo Southwest constituency. Now, away from that, the Christmas festivities are gradually shaping up in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, with many revelers readying themselves to relish the holidays. But some traders in Ghana's second largest city are lamenting low sales before the season sets in. They attribute the slow markets to the electoral loss that befell their beloved political party, the NPP. Emmanuel Okaikwei has more in this report.
Days into the 2024 general elections, Ashanti region's capital, Kumasi, buzzed with excitement from its youth. They had found a new toy gun and vuvuzela craze to prep them for the Christmas festivities. A few days after the December 7 polls, it is a mixed euphoria in the Garden City ahead of the Yuletide. The region, as a stronghold of the New Patriotic Party, was in anticipation of a victory for their beloved party to celebrate the season.
Whether good or bad,
we're celebrating regardless of the outcome of the elections. At the Central Business District of Kumasi, traders argue the NPP's overwhelming defeat is impacting sales. Traders who are into the sale of Christmas accessories.
We have to truncate that report to take you back to the EC headquarters. Another result is about to be declared.
Martin Kwaku Aje Mensan Kosa obtained 46,663 votes. Christopher Baire Basunti obtained 43,429 votes. Donko Moses obtained 140 votes. Boyong Idris obtained 76 votes. Total valid votes are 90,308. Rejected ballots are 844. Total vote casts are 91,152. Issues with 2 polling stations. They are DA Primary School, Bamri. They have 657 voters rather. Islamic JHS, Abuoso, also have 481 voters. If you add them up, we get 1,138 voters in these 2 polling stations. And they have issues. So even looking at the votes for the individual candidates, even if all the 1,138 voters in these two polling stations vote for the first runner-up, that is Christopher Basonte Bayere, still Martin Ajay Mensah will still lead him by 2,996 votes. I said there are issues with two polling stations, and they are DA Primary School, and they are excluded from the valid votes that are casted. Birmingham has 657 voters. Islamic JHS Abuoso has 481 voters. If you add them up, you get 1,138 voters. And as I said earlier, even if all these voters vote for the first runner-up, that is Christopher Basonte Bayere, still the winner, who is Martin Ajay Mensah, will still lead him by 2,096 votes. With the power vested in me as the returning officer for Techiman South, I therefore declare Martin Ajay Mensah as the MP-elect for Techiman South.
Whoa! I mean, after the collation, what are the figures for the candidates in the election?
The candidates are Martin Ajay Mensah had 46,663. Christopher Bayere Basonte had 43,429. Donko Moses had 1,140 votes. Sorry. Boyon Idris had 76 votes. We had 90,308 valid votes. Then 844 rejected votes. And then we have the total vote cast are 91,152.
I was interested in what were the issues with the two polling stations.
What do you mean?
What were the issues with the two polling stations?
The issues were about overvoting issues, and we sat on it and said that once they are overvoting, we have to annul those the results. So we annul them.
How many did you work on today?
How many
outstanding police stations did you work on today?
Today, that is, we had 282 police stations for the whole constituency, and we have worked on the 280 police stations.
And so there you have it, the EC returning officer for the Techiman South constituency there, indicating that this result they've just declared is the result. Let's hear from the candidate himself. Who?
Victory. Honorable, you must be very, very excited about the result declared in your favor. We thank God for this victory. Yes.
What's the message to your constituents who are watching as we speak?
Well, we thank them for voting overwhelmingly, but the greatest of all the thanks goes to God Almighty. Do you feel that, I mean...
And so that's Martin Ajay Mensah, who is also the Minister for Local Government and Rural Redevelopment. And he has won the Techiman South constituency there, according to the figures of the Electoral Commission. I was just indicating to you that the EC returning officer said they have done 280 out of the 284 constituencies. So far, two constituencies polling stations were outstanding, and the total vote from those two polling stations are 1,138. And even if all of those vote for the NDC candidate, which was the first runner-up, Mr. Mensajeh Kosa of the NPP will still be leading with some 2,096 votes. The issue with those two polling stations are issues of overvoting, and so they decided not to use them in the coalition. What is unclear, when I asked the question about how many polling stations they worked on here today, it was to get the clarification as to whether how many they had worked on before the chaos erupted in Techiman South, and if they've been able to work on all of them. He said they've done 280 out of 284. And so, I mean, the understanding will be that they should be working on 4 more polling stations. And so 2 have been annulled, giving us the final result. You would only think that they have been able to complete 2 in addition to the 280 that was done before the chaos disrupted the process. And so we've got 7, 2 more to go here at the EC Regional Coalition Center.
Thank you, James Savaji, for providing us with that update. Out of the 9 constituencies yet to be collated, 7 have been collated, all declared for the NPP, and there are 2 more to go. And that's how we wrap up the bulletin. For more news, please log on to myjohnline.com. My name is Faustina Safo. Good afternoon.